everyone. Welcome to the Grit Talk Show with yet another episode. For those of you who are not aware, Grit Coaches is a community of coaches, and we help you develop an in house coaching culture in your organization and provide external coaches for you as well. Besides that, we are an interactive community, a global community, and we have a member of our community, Helda, with us today, joining us from Indonesia. And we are all value aligned coaches, hoping to make a positive impact into the lives of people we touch. Helda basically works with women, coaches them, especially on emotions, mindset, and emotional regulation. So, although women is the topic, and this is Women's History Month, and we just had International Women's Day, but we thought we will talk more on the parenting part, like uh, emotionally healthy parents, because no matter what we are doing as women, whether we're working, we're always working with men. So I think they can't be ignored from the equation, especially as parents. So thank you so much, Hilda, for joining us and for choosing this topic.
You're mostly welcome, Khadija, and I feel so honored to speak here with your community. Thank you.
Hilda, it's such an honor to have you. So let's talk a bit about parenting and how it has evolved over the years. Like, I've seen in today's world,
Mhm.
we are sometimes we are more, you can say, particular as parents, and it turns into sort of like overprotection, helicoptering. So
Correct.
uh, do you think it was the same when we were children, or things have evolved ever since? What's your opinion on
Well, Khadija, as we live in this modern era, I can say that our parenting style becomes more advanced and complex at the same time.
that?
You know, right now, there are so many free resources that you can access to become better parents. You can read the books, you can browse the internet, you can join the workshop, or even you can seek help by meeting a parenting coach who teach you
Mm.
how to become a better parent. So it is very, I can say that parents right now are very comfortable. Parents right now are
Why?
very comfortable, yes. But at the same time, the challenge is also more complex for the parents right now. And Khadija, I see that how the parenting evolved is in the past during I mean that when we were children, I don't think that parents are aware of the importance of the mental health of their children. They just at that time they just focus on the basics, how to provide good education, how to provide the the food, the shelter, how to behave in a certain manner, something like that, very basic. But right now there's a good news that parents right now do understand that they need to attend to their children emotion. They highlight that it is very important to take care of their children's mental and emotional well-being. So I think that that is a good awareness over here.
Yes.
And then what I also see evolve is the role of the extended family. Right now is so weakened compared to the past, right? So it is
Absolutely.
right, yeah. And sometimes it can be challenging, especially if for the single parents, because they have to go to work and then they have to take care of their children, right? Yeah. So
Mm.
it's also evolve over there. Yeah. And one thing that we cannot really, because we live in the era of technology, that technology can be so challenging to overcome because you parent your children in digital era. So technology can become your ally or they can become your enemy. because as you see, I mean that it's not only the children who are stick to the gadget, but also the parents, right? So this is how I see the parenting evolves. And the good thing that the other one thing that I see evolve is the involvement of fathers. Right now, more fathers are more involved in doing the co-parenting with their spouse. So this is how I see the evolvement of the parenting style. Khadija.
Yes.
Mm, mm,
Yes,
mm,
actually, I love your observations, and they're so on point, Hilda.
mm.
What do you think when it comes to technology? Do you think is that the cause for parents to be more vigilant when it comes to the mental health of their children, because we were not brought up in technology? So our children, when they have children, they will be able to much better relate with their children from this aspect, because it hasn't been a transition for them. But for us, it's like a huge transition from playing in the
Correct,
playgrounds to
correct.
technology. Even we are go to a restaurant and you see the parents and the children on the phones. So how do we regulate, maintain a balance? How do we make it a ally?
Okay, I think that we have to see the goal. We have to know what is the goal, what is the aim of the technology. I mean that we cannot avoid ourselves, we cannot refrain ourselves from the technology, because technology gives us a lot of opportunity to learn, right? But one thing that we have to be intentional. We have to be very intentional in using our gadget. I mean that
Mhm.
we really have to be, have kind of self-control and self-discipline to limit our screen time. And then we also not only limit our screen time, but we also have to filter what kind of information that we want to, how we want to use the technology to help us instead of to become addicted to them, right? Yeah, because
Absolutely.
you know, sometimes it becomes a real world right now. The world that we live in is not on it's no longer a real world, but in the in the internet.
Virtual
It is
world.
the real world, the
Yes.
virtual world.
But
Yeah, yeah. I mean that even the parents will a little bit experience the FOMO, the fear of missing
absolutely.
out the information uh if they do not scroll the timeline, if
Yes,
they do not
yes.
pause, if they do not
And
pause, they feel like,
children throw it back at you, like, I try to really, really limit my children's screen time, and they're very disciplined with that. But then they just say it back to me that you're not demonstrating good manners. You have your phone on the table, on the dining table, and you're using your phone. Why can't we use our iPad or whatever? So they do throw it back, and it's difficult to explain that our work is now on the phones and on the laptop, on the gadgets, and they are still working with the books and all. So that part becomes a bit challenging.
absolutely, absolutely. Especially Khadija, now children are so vulnerable in this digital thing because of what? Because there's a lot of cyberbullying over there, right? So it means that the parents need to protect their children from the cyberbullying. And even if they, you know what, if there's no bullying, but there's an unhealthy comparison, if they see their friends go to holiday somewhere else,
Yes.
and it's very expensive, they have expensive holiday, and they feel like, oh, okay, I just go to the local places, and then it can really affect their mental health. So
Exactly.
it is a very challenging for parents right now to to give advice and wisdom to their children how to make the good use of the technology. It's not, it is not easy at all, Khadija.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you suggest no phone days?
If we can do it, once in a week, I think that will be good, right? That
Yes,
will be good.
yes.
Or at least, as parents, we have to give them the wisdom to filter, and how to live in this technology era. What you need to pay attention to, what you have to be careful of, something like that. Yeah, they have to be really cautious in scrolling their timeline.
Now
Mm.
that's Helda, it's doable when children are a little older, but now we see that infants have phones in their hands or iPads in their hands. Not
Mhm.
iPads, that's bigger. Well, and like my children are preschool children, and sometimes I've seen it because of the reels on YouTube. They are all kinds of reels going on, and I don't know how to block those. So, uh, as a parent, you have to be very vigilant. And if you are a working parent and you're both working parents, so how do you keep that level of monitoring?
Yeah, it is quite challenging if both of the parents are working parents, because it is kind of, uh, gadget is a cheap name for these children and very accessible. You just put them in front of the screen and then they just sit down still, right? I think that as a parents, we also need to, to nurture the reading culture at home,
Yes.
right? Reading culture, and also again the playing culture, like building Lego, something like that. I think it is because if it is the infant know nothing, right? The infant is just feeding the information from the parents. So it must be the responsibility of the parents how you want to build a family culture at home. I mean that if you give a lot of books, a lot of toys to your children instead of the screen, I think they will be happy to explore what they have at home, right?
Yes. True.
But it also, like children like to have their parents to accompany them to play, right? So it means that you
Mhm.
have to pay the price after going home from work. You need to accompany your children to play together, to have quality time, to read the books for them. So it is something that we need to work on.
Yes. So
Mm,
this brings me to a great question, Hilda. One of our community members, she's a parenting coach, and she was once sharing that a lot of people, as you said, that parents have become very aware, so they bring their children to the parenting coaches as well, like sort of a family coaching. But she says that for uh, that the first step should be for them to become emotionally healthy, because only
mm,
then can they realize where the child is getting all those anxieties and things, where are those being transferred from, because we don't realize, in so many pressures of today's life, we are unconsciously transferring those to our children. So where do
mm.
we draw the line? Where do and how do we become emotionally healthy to make our children more emotionally healthier?
Yeah. First, it is very true. I do agree 100% with you, Khadija. I mean that as parents, you need to be very fit emotionally. If not, then you won't have any space to do your parenting. If you don't have any space to do the parenting, it means that you do not do the parenting intentionally. And when you do the parenting unintentionally, it means that you're not doing parenting at all. So in order to become emotionally healthy, first of all, you have to know what it is in your mind and what it is in your heart. You have to understand your emotion and feelings. I mean that some people, they do not want to feel the unpleasant emotions, right? They try to push the emotions away. They try to avoid that unpleasant emotions. That won't be healthy at all, Alicia, in the long term. Because as parents, we have to know that emotions are only data. It's only data. It's only feedback. It is neutral. There's no such as bad emotions or good emotion. Actually, there's no such thing like that. Emotions are neutral. So emotions just show you, for example, you feel angry. Okay, you feel angry with your children or with your spouse. It's just a data that your boundaries are being trespassed by someone else. Or if you feel sad, maybe the emotion, the sadness, the emotion just tell you that you lose something important for you. For example, you lose your relationship, you lose your money, you lose your job, you lose your faith, you lose your dignity, something like that. So first of all, that's what the parents need to be aware of. They need to know their emotion and they need to attend and not make any judgment about their unpleasant emotions, first of all. And then the second one, they have to be able to express their emotion in a healthy way.
Mm.
I mean, what I mean by this is they you are not supposed to suppress your emotion. And you have to be able to know how to channel your emotion, especially the unpleasant ones. There are a lot, Khadija, of ways to channel your emotions. Like you can do journaling, you can do painting, dancing, exercising, any kind of ways, right?
Mm.
You have to be able to express what you need and what you want from your spouse, from your children. You have to be able to express.
Mm.
And you also need to be able to regulate your emotion. You have to be able to regulate your thoughts and feelings. And whenever the parents are under pressure, they still have to be able to keep their values without being hostile. You know, sometimes the children make you feel so upset. The children make you feel so
Yes,
under
yes,
pressure, right?
exactly.
Oh, express. Oh, this is the family values. If, for example, they are fighting, okay, they are fighting. So you have to be able to hold to the family's values. For example, there's no physical attack in this house.
Mhm.
That's the example. So
Set
you have
boundaries,
to be,
set
yeah, set the
limits.
boundaries. Correct, correct. And you also have to be able to respect your children,
Yes.
not only let them. It is very important because the children mirror us, right? When they feel respected, they also respect you without being demanded to.
Mm.
And if you say that you are emotionally healthy parent, it means that you can also accept your children who they are. You give them space, you give them room to make mistakes and to be imperfect because they are human, you are human. So I mean that this is the mature emotionally parents do. They do not
Mm.
ask for perfection. They give room for imperfection. They give room for making mistakes, and also they do apologize. They do apologize to their children whenever the parents makes. Yeah,
Mm.
they understand. I mean that the bottom line is they know and understand their emotional states, and then they have ability to to uh to resolve the conflict. to resolve the conflict,
Yes. So,
negotiate solution,
Hilda,
something like that.
that brings me to this point that, since you work a lot with women and you work on emotional regulation,
Mm,
so, women are dictated by their hormones a lot of times as well.
correct.
So, is there some boundary line where uh, because some people have more mood swings because of the hormones,
Correct.
so is there
Correct.
a boundary line where you send them to, maybe a mental health expert, or maybe they need
Yeah.
medication to actually regulate that? Because
Correct.
it a lot of times, as you said, that we are not aware of our emotions, and
Mm,
we're not aware that we're flaring up, or um, our responses are exaggerated. So where do we draw the line and realize that they need help and they need to maybe get medication for that?
mm. I usually what I do is I check first. I make some assessment. I make an
Okay.
observation. Okay. So in the intake session, usually I take their story. Why you feel this way? What make you feel this way? Because sometimes there are a lot of stories behind, right? If it is about the emotional baggage, the unresolved emotion, the unresolved
Mm,
business, so we can try to I can try to help her with the counseling or emotion coaching. But I also usually, if I see that this lady are around 45 something or 50, I usually ask them to go to an option, to their option, to check
mm,
if there's a hormonal imbalance, something like that, because they are in the phase of going to the menopause period
mm,
sometimes, right? Yeah. So it is very important for them to get help from different angle so they can be helped holistically, Khadija.
mm,
I do
mm,
agree with you. So
mm,
usually that's what how I advise them. If they still, after seeing me, they still feel like they're very overwhelmed.
mm,
Sometimes I also ask them, because I have the assessment, right? I have the assessment. And then maybe I will refer them to other professional uh, mental health helpers, professional helpers that can help better, such as a clinical psychologist or OBGYN, so they can have, the medication, something.
Yes.
Mm,
Another important question, Helda, is that as we said, that co-parenting and the involvement of fathers. So,
mm,
how do parents need to work better together with each other in creating aligned family goals? Because sometimes, for instance, one spouse, it could be the husband, who has a very demanding career or a very demanding job, and he hardly gets time for the children, and the mother feels that she's basically working as a single parent. So and there are men who really want to be involved, but they just can't be due to the demands of their work. So
mhm.
how do we create family aligned family goals to
Okay.
improve um, our health as a family, our mental health as a
Mm,
family, and
okay.
harmony?
Okay. First of all, the spouse need to work together on on the family rules. They have to be on the same page. You cannot go this way and that way. You know, you understand what I mean, right? So they really have to be on the same page. They have to read the regulation together, the rules together, the goals, the values. They have to discuss about it together. Ideally, it is before the children were born. It is ideally. But what if the children are already there? And then
Mm,
and if the children are already there, what the fathers can do is by supporting whatever the mom's decision, because uh, the father also has to see if the mother's decisions are aligned with the family values, that they work together. And then after that, if the fathers have no time to directly go into the parenting, then at least they can support the mom, support the decision. One of them. The second one, this is the most that the fathers can do if he has no time, is to show to the children how he really loves his wife. So the children still can sense the closeness, the intimacy, the togetherness between the father and the mother. So they see that these two people are actually one unit. Yeah, that is at least what the fathers can do to support the mom. Yeah.
That's beautiful, Helda. So thank you so much for sharing your insights. They were so on point and so detailed and so structured. I'm absolutely in love with this session. I'll be reviewing it again at my own time. So those of you who are watching, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments, and Helda and I will get back to you. So any parting note, Hilda, that you would like to share? Any advice that you would like to give before we wrap up?
Okay. As a wrap up, because we are talking about emotionally healthy parents, I just want to encourage all parents here that you need to be aware that your reaction, your emotion, your responses, it really influences your children reaction, your children emotion, your children responses. Because your emotions, the level of your emotional health really influence your children in your, in the cognitive area, in emotional area, in the social skill area. They are very influenced. Their self-esteem are also influenced by the level of your mental health. If you have a good level of mental health, if you are emotionally healthy, then you can have more space, and you can um, you can choose the right response instead of just reacting to your children's behavior, and then it will can strengthen their self-esteem. They can see how you respond. They can imitate, right? They imitate how you respond or how you react, and then they will bring it to the school. They will bring it to their friendship, and then they will apply it. So there are a lot of life domain of your children that are influenced by your mental and emotional well-being. So please do aware about it. Yeah. So that's my closing statement for our program right now, Khadija.
Yes, thank you so much, Helda. So, some of my key takeaways have been that we need to be more intentional when it comes to using technology, and we need to transfer the same level of intentionality in our children. Emotionally healthy parents make emotionally healthy children.
Correctly.
So definitely, we need to be very open with accepting our emotions, realizing them that they are neutral, they are not good or bad, and stop judging them. And once we are regulated, then it's easier for us to regulate our family as a unit. So thank you so
Can
much,
I
Hilda.
add one more?
Yes,
one
yeah,
more
please
account?
do.
I think this is important. So if you feel that you cannot you have a lot of unpleasant emotion that is overwhelming you, then you really have to you have to be there to seek for professional help so you can work on your emotion.
Yes. So basically, if we have a lot of unresolved traumas or baggage, then we should be open to getting therapy, or something to first get ourselves on a neutral level,
Mm-hmm.
to be
Correct.
able to then work with our children. Because with all that past carried into the present, we can't do the present any justice, right?
Yes,
So
correct,
yes.
correctly, Khadija.
So thank you so much, Helda.
You're
Wishing you a
welcome.
lovely weekend, and thank you so much for sharing your knowledge with us.
I'm happy with that. Thank you.
Thank you. And those of you who are watching, please stay tuned for our next episode. Write us in the comments what more would you like us to discuss on, and any other questions, please feel free to leave them. Thank you.